All right, what's going on YouTube? I'm back with another video. So this video I want to talk about, let me move it over so you guys can see my face better. But this video I want to talk about differences between living in North Carolina and living in Florida. You've only been here for over a month. There's just a little difference between where I live, Hamlet, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. Be more specific because the part of North Carolina I lived in was some rural and small town, so it wasn't like I lived in like Raleigh or Charlotte. So there's this between where I came from, where I'm at now, and I'm gonna do another video on this where I'm gonna compare New York, Florida, and North Carolina because I live in three different states, so. I'm in a unique position because most people, when they do these comparison videos, they only live in, one state prior. Well, I lived in two states prior to where I'm at now, so I'll do that video in the future once I get the little more of a feel towards Florida, over, from Jacksonville. So yeah. So as you guys know, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been down here for a little over a month now. I moved down here in September 20th. So, I've been over here for, like I said, a little over a month now. And what made me move to Jacksonville was, my mom had passed away. So, my aunt, said I should move down here with her to Florida. And at first I was a little hesitant at first because I was like, I'm gonna leave everything behind. I was just starting to go to a different church. I was going to Mount Olive Baptist and in my area, and I was really hoping that I'll get to stay there longer because I was trying to go there for a long time, but my mom never wanted me to go down there because it was a white church, it was a Baptist church, and my mom was a Black Pentecostal, so it was, so like mom didn't feel comfortable for me going with that church, and not now that she passed away, and I was able to start going again, and I just didn't want to leave him, so it was hard for me in that sense, and then but because I had no job, and I was just stagnated, I had all these dreams, all these ambitions of being a full-time poet and traveling and starting our own business, and like I never had a chance to like really grow. I never had a chance to really shine because I was in a small town, and so my godmother was like, you need a job, you need to work, you need to become an adult and whatever. She's giving me that whole talk, and and I was just like, God, please, because like I really wasn't planning on leaving right now. I thought I was gonna be in my Olive. I thought I was gonna be grow down there. Like I really gonna miss, the people I met down there, like one of the kids, Brayson Vaughn, who I played Fortnite with. He's the reason why I got in Fortnite in the first place, and I was been trying to link up with him for months, and now I'm leaving him again, and this time this time, I'm in another state, so it was really hard for in that sense. So, but I'm glad that I was able to find a church home as soon as I got here, because one of the pastor of that church, the pastor's wife of that church, told me about North Jacksonville Baptist, which is on, I told her I was gonna move to Jacksonville, and she said, "What's part of Jacksonville?" I said, "The north side," and bam, I was able to find a church home immediately, which most people can't do that. So I'm glad that this was all God's plan, because I was never planning on moving to Jacksonville. But yeah, so the differences between here and North Carolina, for one, um I was, well, for where I came from, it's a small town, like I said. So small, rural, not much going on. um Here in Jacksonville, it's a bigger city. You have buses, you have sidewalks, you got corner stores everywhere. Um, people move a little different down here than in, Hamlet, so it is like pretty different in terms of pace of life. Also, another difference is that I'm right near the beach. In Jacksonville, it's near the coast. Where I was in Hamlet, it was further away from the coast. You had to drive like 2 hours to get to the beach. Whereas Jacksonville, you're like right on the beach. I mean, not on the beach, but I'm closer than I was back in Hamlet. Another difference is the people. I mean, obviously the people. I mean, it's still the South, so people are down here are pretty friendly still. Like both places are pretty friendly, but I say that here in Jacksonville, people are a little more. I said because it's a bigger city, because it's Florida, and Florida is known for being like fast paced. People do drive more fast paced down here than back where I came from. You do have a lot more people from other parts of the United States down here because it's a military town, and then it's Florida. So, I mean, where I came from, North Carolina, I mean, you have people from other states that move in, but most people who who lived in my town were people who grew up there. Whereas up down here, you have the natives, and then you have the people who grew up here, but they grew up here, but they were born somewhere else, and then you have people who who like are transplants or whatever. So you do have more of a variety of people down here. Like you have Asians, you have Puerto Ricans down here, you have Mexicans. You have more diversity. Up in North Carolina where I lived at, it was mainly blacks, whites. You have Native Americans. You have Mexicans. You had a lot of Mexicans. Who just came to the United States recently. But for the most part, it was very it was very much the same type of people. It was very much like everybody they'll do the same things. They go to the same places. Up here, everybody's doing things different because it's a bigger city. Um, Another thing I would say is the food. You know, down here you have more chain options. Like down here, you have Crystals, which is popular in like Georgia and Florida. You have um, you have Popeyes, which was not available in in my area. Um, you know, One thing I do miss about North Carolina is Bojangles chicken. We don't have that. I didn't see no Bojangles in Jacksonville. I mean, my aunt said we do have one, but we don't. I didn't see one yet. And then another thing is Wawa's down here, which I really miss. For those, if you're from like the Mid Atlantic area, like Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, like Wawa was the stuff. And like I'm so glad to see a Wawa in Jacksonville because I knew Florida had Wawas, but I just didn't think Jacksonville had one. But Jacksonville has a Wawa, so I'm glad to see Wawas, down here. Um, and nothing difference I noticed about Florida and North Carolina is the weather. In North Carolina, you do get all 4 seasons. In Jacksonville, you really only get like two, well, three-ish. Because Florida doesn't have a winter. It doesn't have like a real winter because it doesn't snow down here, really. Whereas North Carolina, you do get snow. I mean, it's not much difference, but like at least in North Carolina, you do get days where it gets below, like when it gets like below freezing. And Florida, that really happens. And then if it does, it goes back being super hot. So the weather's not super different, but I think about North Carolina, you do get all 4 seasons. Like you are going to get snow, and Jacksonville, the most you're going to get is like flurries. Um, so yeah, those are the differences I noticed between living in North Carolina and Florida. I'll do another video comparing New York, North Carolina, and Florida. So yeah, thank you for watching. Peace.